Hello and welcome to Parenting on the Go. I'm Jonathan Jackson, and joining me this episode is Special Agent Richard Isaacson, a public information officer with the D.E.A. Rich, thank you for stopping by today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, we're so glad to have you to talk to us today a little bit about drug abuse and prevention, especially in the home and for what parents can keep in mind. But would you say today, honestly, is there an opioid and heroin issue within our community?
Well, there is. There's not a community in Southeast Michigan that has not been affected in a negative fashion by the abuse of opiates, whether it's prescription painkillers or heroin. And certainly Oakland County and the communities within Oakland County is no exception.
Now, for those parents who want to address this issue, what are some ways that they can be aware of or even be on the lookout if their kids are using experimental drugs?
Well, prevention starts at a young age, and having discussions with your children at a young age is very important, and setting good role model actions as well as words. So not just talking the talk, but walking the walk is very important. And remember, having the conversation with your children is very important. Sometimes these conversations can be awkward and uncomfortable, but we have to remember, I'm a parent myself, and I've got two not young sons anymore, but two sons, and sometimes these conversations are not the easiest to have, but we have to remember that kids only have one set of parents. They've got plenty of friends. We don't need to attempt to be another friend to our kids. We need to be a parent, and we need to have these tough conversations with our children about substance abuse. And delaying, we've got lots of research now that every year that a young person can delay their first use of alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana, the less likely they are to have dependency problems later in life. And that goes all the way up to the opiate problem. You speak to the professionals that work in the drug treatment community, they will tell you that the majority of their patients or clients got their start into substance abuse by using marijuana or alcohol at a young age. So it's very important to have the message about those gateway or pathway drugs because they in themselves are very dangerous with the developing brain of a young person, but they also lead to other substances.
Now, I like too how you mentioned you are with the DEA, like we said before.
Yes.
But those gateway drugs, are you noticing or any statistics behind this that students and kids aren't using them as much, or are they avoiding them, or is there an increase?
Well, we have seen an increase in drug use across the board in the population 12 and older across the country over the last decade, and pretty significant increase. But I like to focus on the positive. As a parent, as I'm messaging to my children,
of course,
it's very important to focus on the positive. So the most recent numbers show us that roughly 1/3 of all high school seniors have used an illegal drug at least once in their life, which is a pretty high number, and it's unfortunate.
It is, yeah.
All right, but that also tells us, if we flip that statistic around, that tells us that 2/3 of all high school seniors in this country and in Oakland County have never used an illegal drug, even one time. And so I think that's the kind of statistic that we need to re-emphasize when we talk to our children, that, hey, there's a lot of positive role models and positive peer pressure out there as well, and we should focus on that. 2/3 of high school seniors have never used an illegal drug. That's really positive.
That's very inspiring too. And hopefully, that lets parents know, hey, there's still hope for our kids out there.
That's right. We don't want to normalize drug use.
Right.
Sometimes I think the message about marijuana is that it's everywhere and everybody uses marijuana, and that's completely false. And so I don't think parents should fall down that path and normalize drug use. Focus on the positive, and focus on the fact that the majority of people do not smoke marijuana or use marijuana. One other practical thing that parents can do also is when people that misuse prescription drugs, when they are asked how they got their hands on prescription drugs, the most common way that people get their hands on prescription drugs that they misuse are from their own families or their friends' families. So a very important message for everybody. If you've got unwanted or expired prescription drugs in your medicine cabinet, get rid of them, dispose of them. We have take-back locations, police departments across Oakland County, and the DEA has a take-back day twice a year where you can get rid of all your unwanted and expired prescription medications, no questions asked. And that's a very important way to help, in a very practical way, fight the opiate abuse problem in this country.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rich. We appreciate you coming by. Once again, everybody, Special Agent Richard Isaacson with the DEA, and we want to thank you all for joining us on this episode of Parenting on the Go. And remember, if you'd like to look up more helpful parenting tips, then please go check out West Bloomfield Youth Assistance's website at wbyouthassistance.org. Take care, everyone.